You're standing at a self-checkout kiosk in a pharmacy, a bottle of allergy medicine and a pack of gum in your hand. The screen blinks red. Card declined. You feel your neck go hot, even though the line behind you is only one person deep. You try again, declined again. You step aside, embarrassed, and check your banking app right there under the fluorescent aisle lighting. $40 while you're staring at it. A subscription you forgot about pulls $8 out automatically. $32 left. Then the overdraft fee hits. $35. You are now negative by $3 because of a coffee subscription you signed up for 11 months ago and never once used. You leave the gum on the counter. You can't afford it anymore, technically. Outside, sitting in your car, you call the bank, hold music, then a recorded voice, then finally a real one, reading from a script, telling you fees like this typically aren't reversible. You ask for a supervisor. You're told someone will follow up. Within 2 business days, nobody follows up. 3 days later, you walk into the branch on your lunch break. The teller's screen glows against her face while she types. She glances at your balance, and something in her expression shifts. Not rudeness, nothing dramatic. Just a kind of practiced neutrality. The look reserved for accounts that don't require effort. She processes your fee dispute in under a minute. Denied. Same explanation as the phone call. You don't argue. You just say thank you, and you mean it out of habit, not sincerity. Walking back to your car through the branch parking lot, you understand something for the first time, standing there under a flat gray sky. You're not being mistreated. You're being ignored. And at $40, ignored is apparently the best available option. 6 weeks later, you're standing in line at the public library, paying off an overdue fine on a book you returned 2 months late. $4 and change. Paid in cash because you'd rather not touch the account for something this small. Direct deposit hit 2 days ago. You've been disciplined. Skipped the drive-through breakfast 3 mornings running, packed lunch instead, and your balance sits at $310 for the first time in months. Small, but it's yours, and it's staying. Later that afternoon in the vestibule of your bank's ATM lobby, you apply for a secured credit card on your phone. The kind that requires you to hand over your own money as collateral before they'll extend you credit against it. $200 down, so they'll lend you $200 back at nearly 24% interest. You read the terms twice, standing in that narrow, fluorescent-lit vestibule with the door beeping every time someone else comes in to use the machine. You don't take it, which matters 2 weeks later when your car's alternator dies in a shopping center parking lot and you have no plastic to fall back on. You take the bus to work for 4 days. Your manager doesn't say anything, but she notices. The kind of noticing that doesn't require words. Just a slightly longer pause before she hands you your schedule. You call the bank's loan line from your apartment stairwell Friday evening. Cell signal weak, asking about a small personal loan for the repair. The voice on the other end is polite, almost too polite. We can offer a secured option, she says. You'd need collateral. You don't have collateral. That's the entire problem. 8 months in, you're standing in the mailroom of your apartment building on a Sunday evening, sorting through envelopes when you open your bank statement and notice something. The maintenance fee that used to drain $12 a month has simply stopped. No notice. No explanation. You check it 3 separate times standing there among the mailboxes to be sure you're reading it correctly. Nothing changed except your direct deposit pattern, lining up with something the system recognized as worth keeping. The following week, you're standing under the bright showroom lights of a car dealership. Your old Civic's transmission finally gave out for good, and you need something reliable. The finance manager pulls your credit, comes back with a number, 11% APR. Not great. Not the disaster it would have been 8 months ago. You sign the paperwork on a glass counter, a salesman hovering nearby with a coffee he never offers you, and you drive off the lot in a car 4 years newer than your last one. That night, back at your kitchen table, you get an email. Subject line includes your first name, correctly spelled. for what feels like the first time ever from this bank. Pre-approved $2,000 credit line. No collateral required. The same institution that wanted $200 of your own money as a hostage 6 months ago is now offering you money for nothing. You didn't change. The number next to your name did. A year and a half in, you're standing at a copier in the corner of your office, waiting for it to finish a slow print job, when your phone buzzes with a call from an unfamiliar local number. Not a robocall, an actual person. Hi, this is Devin. I'm your new relationship banker. I wanted to introduce myself and see if we could set up a quick call about your goals. You almost laugh out loud standing there next to the copier. 6 months ago, this same bank put you on hold for 40 minutes over a $12 dispute. Now they're calling you, unprompted, on a Tuesday. You take the 15-minute call sitting on a bench in the office courtyard during your lunch break. Devin asks about savings goals, timelines, whether you're thinking about a house eventually. 2 weeks later, you're standing in a different dealership. Nicer showroom, leather seats already installed. Financing a car for your partner. The rate comes back at 6.4%. Same credit profile, roughly. Different numbers sitting in the account behind you. The price of money got cheaper, not because you negotiated harder, because you stopped looking like risk. 2 years and 4 months in, the bank starts calling you a preferred client. The word shows up on your statement header. On the welcome screen when you log into the app, Devin invites you to lunch, an actual restaurant, white tablecloth, the kind of place you'd never have picked for yourself on a Tuesday afternoon. He remembers unprompted that your sister just had a baby. You mentioned it once in passing 4 months earlier, during a phone call about refinancing. You didn't think anyone was listening that closely. Turns out someone's job is to listen that closely. A letter arrives the following week. Pre-approval on a mortgage, $430,000 Pastanyan, before you've even started house hunting. The bank has decided what you can afford, before you've decided what you want. You mention, almost as a throwaway comment over dessert, that a competing bank reached out with a slightly better savings rate. Devin calls you back within the hour with a counteroffer. Nobody fought this hard to keep you when you had $40 in your account. 4 years in, the bank stops being somewhere you visit. It becomes something that visits you. Devin doesn't call anymore, he shows up. At your office this time during a slow Thursday afternoon, with a colleague from wealth management trailing behind him, carrying a leather portfolio. They ask about your 5-year goals, your tax situation, whether you've thought about a trust for your daughter's education fund. The meeting runs 90 minutes. Nobody tries to sell you anything directly. That night, you're invited to a private dinner the bank hosts twice a year. 8 guests, a chef doing a tasting menu, a view of the skyline from a rooftop room you didn't know existed above your own city. Nobody mentions money once the entire evening. Money is the reason everyone's at the table. It just isn't the conversation. You call about a delayed wire transfer the following week. Someone picks up on the second ring. No hold music, no script. Fixed in the same call. The exact same problem at $40 would have taken 3 phone calls and a week of waiting. 6 years in, you stop having a relationship banker. You have a private banker, a different title inside the institution, one that comes with fewer than 20 clients assigned to a single person. Yours is one of them. He knows your daughter's school by name. He knows you're considering a small family foundation. Something you mentioned once, over coffee, 8 months earlier. The mortgage rate on your second property isn't published anywhere. It's negotiated quietly over a phone call that lasts 11 minutes. You're brought into a conference room with no logo on the glass door, plain wood table, no brochures anywhere in sight. The deal on the table is a private real estate fund that will never appear on any public prospectus. It exists specifically because clients at this level exist. You didn't apply to get into this room. The room opened. Because your account justified it. You no longer have a banker. You have a relationship. And the entire distance between those two words is the distance between this level and everywhere below it. Losing your account would show up in someone's performance review, would matter to actual careers inside the institution. You're invited to a private gala hosted in a converted art gallery downtown. 12 guests total, a chief investment officer working the room quietly, asking your opinion on infrastructure investing in emerging markets, genuinely wanting the answer. You realize somewhere near the end of that night that you're no longer being served by this institution. You're shaping it. The same bank that once charged you $35 for being $3 negative is now flying an executive across the country to ask what your generation of clients actually wants from a private bank in the next decade. Somewhere right now, someone is standing at a pharmacy self-checkout, watching their card decline over a bottle of allergy medicine. They'll check their account on the way to the parking lot. $40. A subscription they forgot about will quietly take 8 more. The overdraft fee will hit within the hour. They'll call, they'll get hold music, a script, a promise of a callback that never actually comes. They don't know yet. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly the way it was built to. The same institution that will one day fly an executive across the country to ask their opinion is, right now, today, charging them for the crime of not having enough. You were the same person at every single balance along this journey. The bank simply decided who you were, based on what sat next to your name. The bank never changes at any level. It only ever reveals what it already was. If this story changed how you think about money and how it's actually treated, hit subscribe, because next time, we follow a completely different number through a completely different system and find out it works exactly the same way.